Hello, hello, and welcome back for more doom, dejection, despair, and other words that begin with the letter D as we head back into Perfidious Manor for a little bit more Darkest Dungeon. And what specific flavors of doom, dejection, and despair are on the menu for this evening? Well, nobody knows for sure, but fortunately it really doesn't matter because much like the decision whether to toss the beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp packet into a bowl of ramen, we're still going to have some hot, noodly goodness in our belly when we're finished. Or, in this case, I suppose, hot, noodly Resolve EXP. At least I'm assuming that Resolve EXP is both hot and noodle flavored. Having never set foot into a haunted dungeon armed with a sword and a torch, I can't really say for certain what Resolve EXP tastes like. So, I wouldn't know. Also, I no longer have any idea at all what the hell I'm talking about. I just made an analogy between doom, dejection, despair, and fucking ramen noodles, so I've clearly gone completely off the deep end. I think the dungeon may have finally gotten to me. Either that or my constant bouts of autoerotic asphyxiation have finally done irreparable damage to my brain. Could go either way, folks. Either way. Anyway, let's start putting a team together here so we can get down into the dungeon before we delve too deeply into my masturbatory habits, because as dark as the dungeon might be, trust me, my masturbatory rituals are a much, much darker road, so let's just avoid that subject altogether. Take a look and see what the dungeon's got in store for us today. A champion mission to kill the Necromancer Lord. Why, I'm gonna just go ahead and say fuck off to that shit. Activating 3 corrupted altars has some potential, but again, we're sort of looking to pile up deeds more than anything else. Eldritch Killing Incense. Nice payout for that, and a reasonable number of portraits, which we could use, but again, aren't necessarily totally in search of. Also, that trinket is garbage. You know, no, it's not actually garbage, it's just sort of crummy. I mean, it's just kind of mediocre. Looks like we may take a swing at the hag? Yeah, I think that's what we're down to, folks. I mean, it's last call. 2 a.m. on an east side bar, and the pickings are kind of thin, and unless we are wanting to go home alone, we're going to have to take a swing at a hag, so let's down another shot, get our resolve sort of screwed into place, and see if we can take home a bar skank, I guess. Alright then, it's a 2 a.m. Hopefully I can wake up and be gone before she notices me night. Well, let's get to work on it. So I think for the hag, we're definitely going to want our A team. It's going to be Jack, Roderick, Randy, and Madeline. Do any of them... Maddie's missing a trinket. Did we give that to Lucy? Nope. Where is that trinket then? I bet we gave it to Chrysania. That's exactly what we did, in fact. Alright, well, let's take that back. This profane scroll is getting passed around a lot. I mean, this is it's getting tossed around more like a drunken sorority girl at a frat rush party. But I kid. Not all sorority girls are promiscuous. You know, just most of them. And if you are a sorority girl, I mean no offense, except for, you know, sorry, it's a stereotype you're going to have to live with. I mean, you chose to join that sorority. If you weren't prepared to accept a stereotype, you shouldn't have joined. Not like that shit's free. You paid money for that. Anyway. Madeline Usher, fully kitted up, ready to roll. One thing we are going to do, though, let's upgrade some weapons and armor as much as we can afford. And when I say upgrade armor, I mean it's actually already fully upgraded, but what we can do at the blacksmith is give everybody rank 5 weapons, and we're absolutely going to do that, despite the fact that it's going to be quite expensive. Just like that time your dad had to come bail you out of jail after you passed around that sorority girl. This one's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you something. Although it is nice to see the Hand of Light. That's actually a pretty cool name for a hammer. I like it. Alright then, let's get to work. Standard layout, half-cock Jack in the lead, Roderick Usher on backup, Randolph Carter, of course, on keyboards, and Madeline on drums. So there's our band, folks. They're ready to go. Let's go take a poke at a hag. You know, after the whole pick-up 2 a.m. bar scenario that I spun there, taking a poke at a hag probably wasn't the greatest choice of words. Anyway, we're going to go with 2 full stacks. You know what? 2 full stacks and change. We're going to go for a little extra food. This is in the Weald, so we're taking full-on supply of shovels, and I think 1 of everything else. So we're going for the combo plate, and then we're going to take 12 torches as well. Takes us down to 9,000. But we should be able to cover all of these expenses easily with just what we're going to get for bringing down the hag. So
knowledge of horticulturalism
I'm comfortable.
Its role in various arcane practices impressed me greatly.
Really?
My licentious impulse gave way to a genuine professional respect, and together we began to plant, harvest, and brew.
Why does all of that, Mr. Narrator, sound like a gross euphemism for some freak nasty sex? Also, once again, if you had, you know what, I shouldn't make fun of the narrator. Sure, the guy was taking this on, but there's something to be said for being willing to take that to your sack. I mean, if you're taking that to bed, you're a braver soul than I am. I mean, your taste is questionable, sure, but you got to give a guy credit for bravery. Full marks in that respect. The guy's got some sack on him if he's willing to take a chance on that. That's one hag I would not take a poke at. Anyway, speaking of hags, I have to assume our hag is going to be in this location, and we have a pretty straightforward trek through this dungeon. Pretty good straight line. I kind of like the layout. We should be okay. So, of course, we immediately run into 3 of the units that I despise most in the entire game. Slavering Ghouls and Grazed Gnashers. I hate these fucking dogs so much. So much. So much. Nice start for things, though. Half-Cock Jack leading it off with 20 damage. Randolph Carter is in a terrible position. He's going to have a very difficult time doing much of anything at all. You know, I wouldn't actually mind if Half-Cock Jack got rabies in this situation. It would not be the worst thing that could come across. Let's go for the sacrificial stab on a Gnasher. We really need to start doing damage to these guys. I want them gone. And we might be able to get a judgment kill with old Maddie. We can indeed. Nicely done, Madeline Usher. Little stress relief from Maddie as well. Now we're going to get the Holy Lance here on the big bastard. Booyah! Suck it, 23. That was some solid output. Old Jack taking an unfortunate rend, but honestly, I would rather be rended and blighted in this particular instance than have Half-Cock Jack, or then have one of our troopers get extra stress, like from this howl, for instance. This is what I was hoping to avoid and then did not avoid. Once again, folks, speak of the devil. Randolph Carter at least finishing it off with enough authority to get us some of that stress back. Nicely done there. Let's go for the heal and the stress relief here. More so the heal than the stress relief, even though it only healed 1. The stress relief is just a nice ancillary benefit. The Gnasher got absolutely shit all out of that, so we're going to patch Half-Cock Jack up, and I have to assume that a nice little point-blank shot should be able to finish this gentleman off. A very unlucky critical to end things. That's why I hate these fucking dogs.
Obliterated.
He was, in fact, obliterated. Well observed, Mr. Narrator. And since we have 2 anti-venoms, I'm absolutely going to use one. We're going to get rid of that straight away. Let's put Randolph back where he go. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Thanks. And we're going to shuffle these guys in the worst fashion possible so that it takes absolutely as long as we can make it take. Grab a torch here. And continue on into the Weald. And this is why we brought the superabundance of shovels. Not even to our first room yet, and we've already encountered a thorny thicket. We're going to burn that freebie torch we picked up and head on through. Another fight. Not unexpected here, actually. Eldritch Push, not really a problem even if that had hit. He does have... this is a situation where a Grape Shot Blast would be so good to start with. That's okay, though. Half-Cock Jack very nearly putting one of those fungus men out of action before he even got a chance to go. That was a monstrous kill from... Oh, you got to be kidding me, Randy. You didn't kill either one of them. You just very, very badly wounded them both. So rather than going for the kill here, Half-Cock Jack has gone for the Mufasa, or was it Mustafa? I guess Mustafa method. And that he just threw them down a hole, and now they're very, very badly burned. Not dead, just very badly burned. Ah, Will Ferrell, that was back before you had sort of jumped the shark, my friend, and we're still a delight to behold. I'm very, very badly burned. Half-Cock Jack is finishing those guys off. Randolph Carter badly, badly burned them, and then, of course, Half-Cock Jack badly, badly maimed them. Which we have no problem with. I fully support the maiming of evil beings. But how do we want to do this? I mean, we do have a key. This is probably locked. Let's have Sir Roderick open... It's an heirloom chest. Never mind. Okay. Well, Sir Roderick was the right pick then. Get our team back in the order we want them in, and we'll just forget all about that chest. It's okay. We didn't exactly have an abundance of inventory room anyway. We might not have been able to even pick up those heirlooms had we managed to get hold of them. Another free torch. Hold up! Sir Roderick Usher, of course, always on the lookout for a free torch. This sticky sap uses anti-venom, right? Is it... it's bandages? It's bandages. Yep, it's bandages. Alright, ooh. Yeah, you can say that again, Mr. Narrator. Those were beyond laden with loot. Those were fucking festooned with loot. Who's better at traps? 60% for you. I think this may be a Randolph Carter job. Oh, nope. Halfcock Jack has surpassed Randy in his ability to fling himself head first into a trap after we wasted our last anti-venom. Brilliantly done, Jack. That's perfect fucking timing, sir. Perfect timing. I'm glad I brought you along. And if he's only healing 1 per food, we're not even going to try and heal him that way. We'll just wait and have old Madeline patch him up as she typically does. We've got a lot of fights between ourselves and the hag still. It's getting down to, seriously, it's way last call in the bar, and this hag we're in pursuit of must be one of the last hags in the joint, I guess. Left luggage. Let's go for the key. Valuable belongings inside. Man, we are coming across the loot here. Which is more useful to us? Honestly, neither, because we're probably going to discard both of those as well. It would not be out of the question for us to also discard those. We don't really need crests, though. Let's bump the crests and take... Citrine is more common than jade. I mean, they're both kind of worthless, but the citrine is the more common variety. See if Halfcock Jack can maybe get this trap. Hey! Finally found one he didn't want to just trigger with his fucking head. They tell you what, they say use your head. Halfcock Jack, of course, thought instead of, you know, applying logic and wit to disarming a trap, they meant literally just jam your head into it. And so, of course, that's what he did. This time, though, he found out that they were, you know, saying that figuratively. We're in trouble. This is not at all good. Rabid rushers along with that giant, especially when we are not going to get the immediate point-blank shot because of that Gnasher. Man, I hate those fucking dogs. This guy could tent peg someone with a single hit. He really could. These blighted giants are nothing to be trifled with. They hit real hard. So we're going to go ahead and use this bandage. I can't afford to have anyone bleeding, and we're going to need the party heal here. We got everybody patched up. We're going to debuff this guy. Oh, yes, absolutely. Nice critical, Randy. We very much needed that. Getting the mark and the... Oh, we didn't get the debuff, though. Woo! Big dodge from Sir Roderick. The confusion spores, I think, all that guy can do from the second position, so we may have caught a break there. We most certainly did not catch a break with that, though. Fuck. Alright, what do we have that can do 14 damage? Not that. What about you? No? We might be better off to go with, yeah, I think we have to. We're not going to be able to get the kill with a single shot from Jack, so... Man, that guy has criticaled Madeline Usher twice now. Back-to-back criticals. I think weird reconstruction is the right move. I don't want anyone on death's door, and this guy could do enough damage to put Maddie on death's door in a single shot, and then we're going to go with the zealous accusation. Excellent. So got us just enough to get rid of the rabid rusher, and this guy is not hugely stun resistant, so we're going to try for the stun. This is a gamble. Very lucky. Very lucky. Alright, so we may be able to take this guy out. He's not terribly bleed resistant, so let's open up a vein on him. Also got 8 damage out of Jack. Probably what would have been better there would have been a dash to the front and then followed by a point-blank shot. That would likely have been smarter, but what's done is done. We're just going to go for the Randolph Carter patented facial stabbing, followed by a nice smite from Sir Roderick. 15 damage is acceptable. And... oh, he's going to get a go. I was going to say, we're going to go for the stun on this guy. The confusion spores are not really that big of a problem. Let's go for the group heal then from Maddie, and we have more than enough damage to close this guy out. He has a bleed on him. I think Halfcock Jack will probably take him down there. He sure did. So we came out of that pretty luckily. We got quite fortunate in the way that one panned out. Do we want the gold or do we want the portraits? Honestly, I think we're probably better off to take the portraits. So let's get rid of the citrine. We knew we always would get rid of. And we're going to pick up those 2 portraits. We'll leave that. We can investigate this traveler's tent. Never found anything bad in a traveler's tent. I don't think to date I have ever found sort of a negative item in a traveler's tent. That map wasn't exactly useful, so... I suppose one could say that constitutes a bad item, since it did literally nothing. Yeah, well. Randy, check out this crate. Of course it has stashed heirlooms. Randolph Carter looked in it. We can't take them, though, because we're out of inventory space, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Do you heal 1 or 2 from food? Randy heals 2. We're going to eat that stack of food with Randy. Don't like having Rand now. Of course, everybody else saw Randolph eating and then decided they were hungry, too. None of you were hungry until Randolph had a snack. Well, got a bunch of fucking 4-year-olds. Bobby has candy. I want candy, too. Well, this sucks. Man, I hate these dogs. I hate them so much. They're all going to go before us. Their speed is so ridiculously high, it makes them a terrifying foe, and the fact that they can give you fucking rabies sure as hell doesn't help any. Would have been nice to get a critical abyssal artillery there, but no dice. We're going to take a point-blank shot for a kill. On the plus side, that attack almost can't fail to kill a guy. Little dodge there. We'll probably go with the Jacques from Roderick Usher, but I think before we do that, we're going to go for a judgment. Get everybody whittled down in case we get very lucky on a roll and half-cock Jack through some miracle gets to go before the dogs. I was going to say he could grape shot blast him, but it doesn't look like that's going to be necessary. Also, he's not going first, so... So Roderick has had rabies before, my friend. You're going to have to hit him with something other than rabies. He's been vaccinated. The power of vaccines, folks, right there, in action. Remember, vaccinate your kids. I don't care what Jenny McCarthy says. That bimbo doesn't know what she's talking about. Vaccinate your kids, folks. Vaccinate your kids. Jenny McCarthy is a celebrity. You should not listen to her when it comes to medical advice. Take the advice of a trained medical board-certified professional. Which, again, Jenny McCarthy is not. Vaccinate your children.
Wealth beyond measure.
I don't know about wealth beyond measure, but it's better than a kick in the balls, Mr. Narrator, so I will take it. Also, things are still going fairly okay. We do still have a hag fight at the end of this journey. Gotta try and wrestle that hag home into our bed. That sounded more creepy than it should have. Randolph Carter, desiccated mummy. Who pokes around in the guts of mummies? You do! Because that's the worst thing that can happen to Randolph Carter poking around in the guts of a long-dead mummy, is that there can just be nothing in there. That's literally the worst thing that's ever happened to him. Torch time. Torch time. Ha! Strikes on flame. So hard. Lights up the light. Oh, my Lord. Thank you for blessing me with a little bit of light so I can see. On we go. MC Hammer's just rolled over in his grave right now. And I know some of you are saying MC Hammer isn't dead, but in fact you're wrong, because that rendition and ripoff of Can't Touch This actually killed the man. So I'm also a murderer now on top of my many, many other crimes. I killed a rap icon.
Glittering gold, trinkets.
Well, we got to take this sapphire. The question is just what we want to get rid of in order to take it. And I think the answer to that question is 6 crests. So, good day, crests. I would have liked to have brought you along on our journey, but, well, like Romeo and Juliet, it simply was not meant to be. Also, Romeo and Juliet is not about fucking 2 lovers at all, so I'm sorry if you hold that opinion and think it's a tragic love story, but you should really reread that play as an adult. Most people get sentenced to read Romeo and Juliet as kind of use, and typically it's pretty poorly explained by their instructors. Because a lot of stuff in Romeo and Juliet really isn't appropriate to explain to high schoolers. You know, there's basically a whole chapter about, oh, you know, like anal sex, and Mercutio spends an entire act of the play railing on Romeo for how pussy-whipped he is. It's, got some pretty adult themes in it, and so it typically gets taught as a beautiful love story, which it most certainly is not. It's actually a story about 2 self-indulgent fucking piece-of-shit teenage brats who ruin the entire fortunes of their families because they're, well, kind of willful assholes, basically. If you haven't read it as an adult, seriously, I recommend it. Go back and read it again. You'll take a lot more out of it and realize it's a much better play than you even thought it was the first time. Oh, this fight. Oh, this is not good. So, this towering ectoplasm has a ton of hit points and can make more, not only small slimes, but it can make more of itself. Which sucks because itself has 53 hit points. Now, we did just do about half of that in a single swing, which is nice, but yeah, I didn't think we were going to be able to hit with that. I say we go for the judgment, get a little heal. I think Madeline... Oh, I thought Madeline was down a little health. She actually wasn't. That's okay, though. I don't suppose... Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he can hit that, so we're just going to go for the straight-up smite. 18 damage to the ectoplasm is solid. Facial stabbing for our enchantress friend. Didn't quite get the job done. I was hoping Randy'd be able to close him out and maybe make a sacrifice to Yog-Sothoth while he was at it, but no dice. Sorry, Randy. Just wasn't in the cards, buddy. On the plus side, that did not generate another slime, and now we can kill that son of a bitch. Randolph is going to make his wanted sacrifice to the old gods, and we'll get a chance to take another point-blank shot at the ectoplasm. Half-cock Jack, if you would, sir. Nicely done.
Victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Oh, come on, Mr. Narrator. Sometimes I really wonder about your proclivity to oversell our situation. Now, we have this anti-venom. The question is, do we want the anti-venom? I think the answer is no. Let's throw that on the ground. I would rather have the 200 gold at this point, actually. Onward we trek, and I think this may be the spot where we consider camping, although we're doing really well. I'm not even sure we need to camp. Everything is looking pretty damn good. I say that, of course, and now we're going to probably be completely fucked. I'm going to use a shovel here. What did we find? Literally nothing we can take. Well, that was a fantastic use of a shovel. What I should have done if I was smart, I would have left that and got it on the way back, or come back for it. Would have been the wiser thing to do. Also, we would have known whether or not we had a spare shovel at that point as well. There's our hag, just as we suspected. So, again, we called it. I called that one, dog. I knew that hag was going to gun you down. She ain't your kind of late-night action. The spirits command you to do this? Well, you know what? In this case, Randolph Carter, you should absolutely heed the commands of the spirits, because if the spirits had not commanded you to do that, I would have commanded you to do that same thing. So in this particular instance, the spirits and I are in complete agreement. I'm going to go ahead and burn a torch here, even though it's kind of a suboptimal use of that torch.
The path is clear.
And I'm glad I did. Give me a surprise round. Damn it. All right, then. We did get to point-blank shot off before the dogs got a chance to go. I appreciate that. Little rabid rush. Nice dodge from Randolph Carter. Randy showing some surprise mobility, and Half-Cock Jack showing some solid moves as well. This guy's swiveling his hips like fucking Jim Brown trying to score. And I mean trying to score with the hag at the bar, actually, not in a football game. We're going for the... Yes, I am actually piling damage on the ghoul, because I'm more concerned about the ghoul than I am about either of the rabid rushers. I would like to get this guy killed before he has a chance to whack us with a stress attack. It's probably not going to happen, and by probably I mean definitively it's not going to happen. That's okay, though. He's only going to get one chance, and he threw a skull at Madeline Usher. This will give her some stress, but Madeline's stress was already pretty good position, so it's not really that big of a problem. Let's go for the facial stabbing and see if we can close. Yep, exactly did. Probably should have stabbed the ghoul. That would have killed him. We had no way to predict the critical, though. If I could predict criticals and things of that nature, I assure you, I would be a Las Vegas gambler professionally. Would be a fine, fine job. We're going to go ahead and take the kill with Half-Cock Jack. Move him back to the front with a little bit of a dash. Maddie's going to eat another skull. No, she ducked this time. That's what happens when you don't vary your attacks, slavering ghoul. You get predictable. When you get predictable, your ass gets dead. This is actually more accurate, so since it has a higher chance to hit, I'm going to go with this one. We only needed 5 damage to get the kill. I didn't really feel we needed to take any chances, try and hit as much as possible. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave both of these. It's either medicinal herbs or holy water. We could throw one of those on the ground. I don't really relish that. I would use the bandage if I could, but no one is injured enough. Yeah, we're just going to leave it. That troubles me. It really does. And we're probably going to camp. Should we camp before this, or should we just wait and camp after the hag? I think, depending on how this fight goes, our best bet might be camp after the hag, so we can sort of undo the hag stress. You know, undo the guilt and remorse you feel when you wake up in the morning next to that hag, having been far, far too drunk the night before at the bar and taken her home despite the fact that you knew better in the first place. That's called hag stress. Just, you know, so you know. We'll go ahead and take the damage there. Not unreasonable output. That's going to let this zealous accusation get at least 1 kill. And we did a number on the follow-up dog, so this is going to go okay for us. This fight not really too big of a problem, especially considering the fact that Half-Cock Jack dodged successfully. And like I said before, in this situation, should somebody accidentally come down with rabies, fighting the hag, I really wouldn't find the rabies to be too big of a problem. The bleed, honestly, is a bigger problem than the rabies. The reason for that is rabies gives you a small accuracy penalty, but a large damage bonus. And against the hag, the damage bonus is going to be more important than the slight accuracy penalty, because the hag's pretty easy to hit. But that's got the dogs finished. Another 900 gold for our coffers. Well, we've got to take the 900 gold. We can't not. Adios, then, medicinal herbs. I hate to abandon you, but it has to be done. I can't abandon that shovel because we're going to need it. Well, half-cocked Jack is bleeding. Our stress is pretty good. We do need to perhaps reorganize our skills. We're going to need stuff that can hit the 3rd slot. What rank? He has pistol shot 2. Or take aim. Take aim is interesting as a potential replacement for point blank shot. Also, we could keep point blank shot, though, to do damage in case we needed to get somebody out of the cauldron. You know, I might do that just for the versatility. I want to see what Roderick has that can hit the 3rd slot. Just Holy Lance. That's a bit of a problem. We probably should not have brought Roderick. We probably... I know you can Sacrificial Stab, yeah. And you can Judgment. We probably maybe should not have brought Roderick along. We might have been better off with... In fact, I'm certain we would have been better off to bring on this particular mission a Hellion. Because then they could have just had them throw an Iron Swan over and over. Alright, well this is troublesome. Unless he criticals, this will not get to kill. I still think it's worth it. 9 damage, that's solid. In all likelihood, the Gnasher's going to go before... Yeah, we're going to dodge that. That means the only thing this guy will be able to do is Confusing Spores. Except we're going to kill the dog. We could have really used that crit on the Blighted Giant. Would have been... yeah, alright. Well, Confusion Spores is not terrible. It's just a shuffle, which isn't really that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and have you just give yourself a little stress relief, Sir Roderick. And you can Holy Lance next time. Maybe. We can probably get the stun here. We did. Alright, so the Giant failing once again to resist a stun. We're going to follow that up with a Judgment. We don't want to stun him when he's already stunned. That does literally no good. Let's go for the Vulnerability Hex. We hit him, got him marked, and debuffed. Fantastic. 21 damage then from Half-Cocked Jack is good output. Sir Roderick's going to be doing some more healing and stress relief because that's what a good Sir Roderick does, I guess. Stun wears off. We go for a Facial Stabbing. 24 damage. Randolph Carter bringing the pain. And I think probably we can finish this guy off before he's going to get a chance to go. We'll open up a vein. That's fatal damage, assuming the bleed sticks. It did. Giant drops dead from a slit throat. It's unfortunate for you, Mr. Giant. Terribly sorry about the way that turned out, sir, but what's done is done. I'm going to throw this holy water on the ground and take the cash. If we could have just gotten that a little bit later, we'd have had, you know, an empty slot, because shovel. But, well, them's the breaks, folks. So, let's go forward. Use our last shovel on the Thorny Thicket. That does leave us an open inventory slot, which is good. We're probably going to need that for whatever trinket we get from the hag. Once again, the spirit's doing my job for me, commanding Roderick Usher to dig around inside the guts of some old diseased mummy. We don't really care about him doing that. Alright then, so we're in relatively good shape. We've actually reduced our overall stress on the way to the hag. We're down a little bit of hit points, but other than that... Yeah, so there we go. We're fully topped off and ready to go start dishing on a bitch. So let's go start dishing on a bitch. Here we go, then. Let's see who goes into the pot. Well, nobody into the pot yet. We have nothing that can hit the 3rd position. I should probably have switched Half-Cocked Jack's abilities. We'll just point-blank shot the empty cauldron and hope that Jack goes in it. Nope, Madeline Usher into the pot. That is unfortunate. So we got to do a lot of damage to the hag, and we don't really have anybody who can hit the hag. Yeah, this is not good. So let's smite the pot. Didn't quite get her out. This is not, yeah, I'm a little upset with myself. This is not going well at all. Really, the only person we have that's going to be able to do damage to the hag is Randolph Carter. Now, on the plus side, the hag does not have a super abundance of hit points. I'm going to go with the Vulnerability Hex here and try and set her up so that we can get maybe a nice little dash maneuver from Half-Cocked Jack on our next roll out, because from Roderick Archer's current position, he ain't going to be able to do shit. So there we go. We got Maddie out of the pot. Another 7 damage on the hag. Maddie's going back into the pot. Alright, well, that's not fortunate, but it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. So 16 damage. We'll have Sir Roderick whack the pot. And it looks like we're going to bring her down with a combination of Sacrificial Stabbing and Grape Shot Blast. Wow, this is poor planning. I absolutely Should have brought a Hellion on this mission. Would have been much, much better. We'd have got vastly better performance here. Let's hope somebody other than Maddie goes into the pot this time. We're going to get a weird reconstruction on Maddie while she's out of the pot. Huge heal from Randy. Nicely done, Randy. Alright, so Half-Cock Jack is going into the pot. That's actually not terrible. We can get Half-Cock Jack out of the pot. Or we could just let the pot kind of chew him off until it comes. Tasting the stew, and that stress is entirely from that hag's tongue. Just looking at her tongue fucking freaks me right the shit out. I can tell you that much for free. Really could have used a critical there, but 15 damage is still pretty reasonable output. We'll take it. We're not going to worry about healing Madeline Usher. She is now seasoned to perfection. Probably should have seasoned her before you put her in the pot, Hag. Don't you know that you always add your wet ingredients together before you add the dry ingredients? Come on, that's one of the basic fucking tenets of cooking, ma'am. You should know that shit. We're actually going to move Madeline back. I'm going to take a turn off so that I can move her. You're fine, Half-Cock Jack. Settle your shit down. You're all right. I'm going to smite the pot here. And, well, you got to be kidding me, Roderick. You missed a fucking stew pot? Nice critical. I really wish if I'd have known we were going to go for the critical, that would have been a sacrificial stab. That would have done us a hell of a lot better. That's okay, though. We'll get the Judgment. This is going to get us some damage and also heal Maddie up a touch. So Roderick can take another smack at the old pot because, well, smacking a pot is what good Crusaders do. Of course, Roderick is questionably good as a Crusader because he missed a giant iron immobile kettle with a sword. The whole team getting seasoned to perfection. I really dislike the amount of stress we're getting from that. Is he out of hit points already? Oh, he is at death's door. Holy shit. So here's the question. Do we... Now, I was going to say, do we go for the Inspiring Cry, but the Hag is already gone this turn. So Roderick is our last person. What's the Hag's speed like? Now, you know what? I think healing is the smarter move. We got to get him off death's door. If he goes back into the pot, we want to have him ready. And I guess we'll point-blank shot the empty cauldron for no fucking reason. Randolph Carter is going into the pot. He dodged into the pot. Is that a thing that can even happen? I didn't even know that could happen. Alright, so Maddie's going to heal up Half-Cock Jack in the event that he's the one who gets picked to go back into the pot. And Randolph Carter's going to slit a bitch's throat. Little known fact, actually, that's not the first bitch's throat Randolph Carter has slit in his career. Randolph Carter, he murdered a lot of prostitutes back in the day. A lot of prostitutes. It was a whole thing, folks. It really was. So that's... You might want to keep that under your hat. He's a wanted man. That's how he wound up in the Hamlet. He's running from the law. 20% damage, 30% chance to debuff. Wow, that is a fucking amazing talisman. That is really, really, really good. But we absolutely want that. A bloodied fetish. That is not so good. In fact, it's not even worth a trinket slot. So let's take this thing. We're going to throw that on the ground. The mission is over. We're going to camp right fucking here, folks. Let's get the firewood down. We're going to try and get as much stress relief as we can. We're going to do that by first off feasting. That gets everybody 10. Madeline Usher has a little stress, but honestly, that's sort of an acceptable level of problem. She could chant. We know Sir Roderick is religious. Yeah, so 15 stress relief there. That's a nice turn. Unbreakable Commune, no. We don't need to abandon hope. Randolph is fine. Definitely going to have you clean guns because we always clean guns. And then we're going to do bandit sense because we always bandit sense as well. What's that leave us on time? Just 5. Stand tall gives him stress relief. Zealous, interesting. So how much time have we got? We've got 5. Let's go for the Zealous Speech. Oh, I thought Zealous Speech worked on himself, but it does not. Alright then. Well, them's the breaks. You feel strong and powerful, Sir Roderick? Let us carry on. You've seen nothing you weren't prepared for. Clearly, Half-Cock Jack knew what it was going to come down to last call, and that he was going to be walking home with a hag, so, I guess he was prepared. Or maybe... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ambushed? Come on. By a stress guy, too. This kind of pisses me off, actually. Let's just go for the Grape Shot Blast. I was hoping we might get a lucky critical there and take out the cultist before the cultist got a chance to go. The cultist trying to do us a favor by pushing Randy back where he belongs, but we're not quite that lucky. Howl. This is going to undo most of the stress relief we just got. Yep, it did in fact undo a great deal of it. Get the kill then for Randy. Nice 11 damage on the occultist. And that should just leave us Roderick, who's going to stress relieve himself. It's all he can do from here, folks. It's all he can do. Randy lay there like a slug. It was his only defense. 10 damage, another howl. This guy's going to do nothing but howl the entire time and just fucking load us up with stress. God damn it. Ah, that's kind of bullshit, folks. We got to see if you can stun this fucker. I don't want to get howled at again. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you. We're probably going to be putting all... Well, not all four, because some of our guys are okay. 19 damage. That's reasonable. We should be able to finish this guy off before he gets to go with a nice little face stab, which we did. No stress relief from the kill, however. 6 more deeds, though, and you know what? For 6 deeds, I'm going to say that fight was actually worth it.
The light, the promise of safety.
So the light waited for the fight to be over before it... Okay, sure. No, we have so many stun charms. I don't know what to do with the ones we already have. They're like Canadian quarters, folks. They're everywhere, and when you get one, you just don't know what it is you want to do with it. We could go explore these 2 final rooms, but I'm not necessarily sure that's the best use of our time. We've got a lot of cash here. We also have... We're doing pretty good on heirlooms. I mean, we do have food and torches left, though. Screw it. Let's go for the whole enchilada. We'll go check out those last 2 rooms. There is at least one more fight to be had, and if anything goes truly awry, we can always bail out at a moment's notice. Let's be crazy. Let's be foolish. Let's do something dumb. This is where I run into another slavering ghoul while backtracking and pick up another cheap 50 stress. Cheap for the enemy, not necessarily cheap for us. It's going to cost us a lot of money to get rid of it. Maybe cheap, not exactly the entirely appropriate word. This is like when it's 1:45 a.m., the bartender already called last call, and you've already whiffed on every hag in the place. You're looking to go home, but your buddy's sort of chatting up one of the slightly lesser haggish fools still in the bar late at night and looking to maybe make a little bit of a love connection, and you're trying to leave. He's got the keys, and you're too drunk to drive, and no, he wants to talk to Cindy with an S for the rest of the evening and see if maybe a chance at love doesn't exist. So you're just stuck over in a corner waiting while he fucking whiffs his way down the bar skank ladder. Wanting to go home, knowing you got to get up in like 6 hours so you can be at work tomorrow. You know what? We don't have a shovel. I'm just going to leave that shallow grave. Odds are not good that we find anything useful in there without a shovel. Much like odds are good, your buddy talking to that bar skank isn't going to, you know, have any chance at love either. And that could go either way. I'm not just saying when I say bar skank. It could easily be a dude. A lot of male bar skanks out there, too. Don't mistake my meaning. Actually, in all likelihood, the chances with a male bar skank are of encountering one, A, way higher. 2, successfully taking one home, vastly higher still. Because when it comes to the male bar skank, those guys are not persnickety. Not even a little, not even at all. Pretty much has a pulse is sort of where... those types of fellows will draw the line. Do you have a pulse? And, you know, sometimes, not even at the has a pulse is where they draw the line. You know, if you were to, say, die mid-coitus, I bet a few of them would, you know, they'd probably finish before they called the popo or the EMTs or medics or ambulances. You'd be like, but I'm so close to home. Gotta finish. I know she's dead, but it's not really that gross. Necrophilia, victimless crime. Alright, I've gone off into a whole weird area here. I'm just going to change the subject. Let's forget the whole thing. It is a victimless crime, though, folks. Victimless. And this is the end of our journey, then. I'm not going through another wall without a shovel. Simply not worth it. It would get us more than we could possibly gain. Let's bail. It's going to get us more stress than we could possibly undo with any potential rewards that might lie behind it. Also, we made a pretty damn good payday there. 21,300. That's a pretty solid haul. Also, we picked up a bunch of deeds, total of 21, which puts us with almost enough to get our maximum armor and fully upgrade our blacksmith. Quite pleased with that. So all things considered, a very good mission. And we killed the hag and we only got 3 resolve EXP? That is not very much. It's not very much at all. So Roderick is a wield scrounger, rather, which is good. Hatred of Eldritch, which I think Randolph Carter already had. I'm almost positive he already had that. And Half-Cock Jack is an amateur weaponsmith. Of course, he gets the reduction to weaponsmith upgrade cost well after we have just upgraded his weapon to rank 5. Fuck me, I guess. Thanks a lot, Darkest Dungeon. Nice little troll maneuver there with our last quirk. That was well played. Well played.
I fear his long-standing duties here have affected him.
He doesn't really seem that affected. Also, that guy, for someone who's so unhinged, spends a lot of fucking time at the brothel. Now, not that there's anything wrong with visiting a brothel. I mean, I understand it's probably a good way to go with stress relief, but I'm just saying, if he was that unhinged, I have to assume his libido would be at least mildly affected in a negative capacity, but I digress. We are going to want to do some stress relief here. I think Sir Roderick is going to get himself a little bit of stress relief. He only prays, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead and send Sir Roderick to the transept. Randolph Carter, how much stress does he actually have? Randy, what do you got here? Stress-wise. How much? 21. He's probably okay. Madeline, you have 37. Madeline's going to actually need some stress relief. She will only drink, right? Yep. That Madeline Usher, she likes a good drinky poo now and then. That's fine, though. Nothing wrong with that. Good way to relieve your stress. Lucy, speaking of stress relief, you got 35 stress. We have Chrysania. Who has more? All right. Lucy has more, so Lucy's the next one to go in. We could have Lucy drink as well. Let's not do that. Let's actually send Lucy to the cloister for a little bit of meditation. Give her a chance to commune with her wardrobe and see if she can make contact with the God Lion. Perhaps find out what enigmatic purposes and goals he has for her in the near future. Doctor Strange is a bad gambler, so we'll try and avoid having him gamble then. I think what we'll do is... Well, I was going to say we'll put him in a cloister, but we actually can't. Wait, Roderick, did we not send you to pray? I thought we just put you in the transept. What the hell, man? Roderick apparently maybe having a little bit of a tiff with his godly holiness. Oh, all right. Well, Karen Murphy then has quite a bit of stress. We could send Murph to the brothel. I think that may be a bit overselling. We're going to send Murph and have her gamble. She won't gamble, actually. Oh, she's a known cheat. It's not that she won't gamble. It's that they won't allow her to gamble. Well, we'll just have Murph drink then. That's fine. Go tie one on, Murphy. And Arya Stark is our only other person in need of stress relief. Is there anything she won't do? She will only pray. Well, that's fine. We've got a nice little spot for you in the cloister. So, Arya Stark, you can head to the Godswood for a little bit of commune. And that's got you sorted. And that's all the stress relief we're going to need to do. And with that taken care of, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support certainly is appreciated. And if you'd like to see more Darkest Dungeon, we post these 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So consider subscribing if you want to catch all the episodes. For now, however, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.